everybody, and welcome to another Employee Spotlight. I'm starting to really whip through these, and it's so exciting because I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the company. I'm the one getting to meet every single person that comes on board. We all were talking last week how we hit our 100th employee. So, welcome today to the show, Jovianna Gonzalez.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you so much for having me on today.
I am excited to meet you and to learn a little bit more about your past and your career and your what you're excited for in the future. So, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself to the audience on what your title is at CyberClan and maybe giving us a little bit of a career history of how you got to this point.
Okay, yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I'm currently CERT lead security engineer at CyberClan. And how did I get here? Okay, so I worked over 20 years at the global law firms. After that, I took an interest in ediscovery. And after ediscovery, I transitioned into, I went, got certified as a computer forensic examiner. And then I got certified as a cybersecurity investigator. And then, but overall, I have a passion for law and technology. So that's what's driven me to, do cybersecurity.
So cool. And especially to have had that history in law and to see the progression of that particular industry and to bring all of that, institutional knowledge with you to this particular type of position, it must give you just a really unique and interesting purview over everything versus maybe some of your other colleagues.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because we deal with legal counsel all the time. So it's nice to be on the other side now versus, on the law firm side.
Right.
So we get to hear, it's a different experience, but I definitely enjoy it, It's
Yeah.
something, actually it's something different because I did paralegal, so I did trial work. It still was investigative work
Right.
that I had to do, and then e-discovery as well, identifying, the search terms and so forth. So, cybersecurity is all about identifying, the how, the when, the where, the threat actor access, the environment. So it makes it very, thrilling to be able to have to be thinking outside the box all the time. It's,
Absolutely. It's really cool the transition from law to e-discovery to then cybersecurity. It just goes to show that, everyone can find an entry into this particular field and that it doesn't always have to be immediately adjacent, but however law is, because we do work with a lot of breach coaches and so forth. What got you specifically interested in e-discovery?
well, the thing is, I got an interest because I wanted to learn how to process data. I took an interest. We had a research on an e-discovery platform all the time on, what's responsive, what's non-responsive. And I'm like, how do they collect this data? I just want to know how they collect the data and how they process it. So I took an interest on that. And then I got certified as an e-discovery specialist because, besides that, I have an undergraduate in pre-law and I have a master's in administration. So it took an interest. It fascinated me. And then once I got to know how the data is collected and how it gets coded and how you have to, ingest it into these load files into this platform to make it readable for an attorney, then I'm like, oh, I want to know how is it collected? Like, how do you collect this data from electronic devices? So I started off with cell phones, doing cell phone forensics. I started doing computer forensics, and then that led into different type of investigations, whether it's property theft or
Right.
or whether it was a criminal case. So it's still you still have to think outside the box. It's investigation work. So that's what took an interest in me from e-discovery, then into forensics. And then I got into cybersecurity because it's just the opportunities are just endless. It's just like the sky has no limit, like as long as you're willing to learn every single day, because it is definitely learning, a lot of constant researching, these ransomware variants, these criminals are getting more and more sophisticated, so you have to keep up with all this reading, on top of it, trying to figure out how is it that they access an environment as
Right.
well. So it's exciting, to be able to have had the opportunity to transition from, e-discovery to forensics and then to cybersecurity.
Absolutely. And it's so cool because I mean, it's like you're like a real life detective, but using modern day tools. So it sounds, and the curiosity, I love to hear the curiosity. So where are you located in the world? Because we talk a lot about how we're a 100% virtual organization. I'm just curious, what part of the country are you, or world actually, because we
So
are across
yes, yes. So I'm in the US. So I live in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida, which is literally like 5 minutes away from Miami Beach.
Uh,
Yeah.
tell me about the sun.
Oh, the sun, it's beautiful. It's like it's our sunshine state.
Exactly.
Usually, I mean, the coldest it gets here is like maybe 45, 50 degrees, and everyone's wearing like scarves and boots
Right.
and jackets and the whole thing.
Yes.
But yeah, our weather is amazing, and
Can't
I
be.
live by the water, so it's definitely very therapeutic. That's one of the very fortunate things about being part of the Cybertime family is that not only, how I became part of CyberClan is because I researched the company. I saw it was a small firm, but with a global reach. And
Mhm.
then they, also have the opportunity to work remotely, and you get to work with different countries, and you get to, learn about different regulations. So that's one of the perks, many of the perks, one of the perks that
Yeah.
I took an interest of being part of CyberClan family.
That's great to hear. It is really a very complex world in cybersecurity, and it is exciting that at CyberClan you really can get your hands dirty in various areas. To your point, learning regulation and compliance in multiple countries. Not all the time would you get that opportunity elsewhere. So it is pretty cool that we can tap into our UK team, into our Canada team, into the US team, and more broadly, we have 9 countries that we work in right now or have clients in. So I imagine that's got to be exciting.
It
So
is.
a little bit about what you do when you're not, hitting the pavement for CyberClan. What do you do in your personal life that might be exciting for everyone to learn about you?
Okay, so my personal life, I'm part of an organization which is called WOMACY. So it's Women in Cybersecurity in Latin America. So we do a lot of presentations. We go to schools, high schools, and we educate young girls on STEM, on technology. So I'm very passionate about that. It's something that I think that we should have more women in technology, period. I see that we're growing, but it'll be nicer to even see more Latinas
Yeah,
in cybersecurity as well. So I am very passionate about that. It's still a growing nonprofit organization. It started about a year and a half ago, and it's all over the world. We interact with Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, and it's just growing and growing. We're getting more and more opportunities to go and present in front of schools. I've also taught at FIU for cybersecurity as a volunteer as well.
very cool.
So yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about, is about you know educating girls and letting them know that it's women could be, this is a woman's world as well.
That's true. Well, you and I were talking before we got on air, and sounding from the length of time you and I are about the same age and the same point in our career, and we didn't have these types of things when we were growing up, and I can't believe I'm finally at the age now where I can say that with a straight face. But growing up, women did not talk about STEM. Certainly did not talk about computers. I mean, in general, most people didn't talk about computers because IT and computer science, those things were still relatively foreign. But yeah, in just the short 25 years, 30 years, it's just been wild how much the industry has grown. And it's so awesome to know that someone like you is out there making sure that that growth reaches every part of our communities and that all people have the opportunity to explore careers in cybersecurity. So I think that's fantastic. And I know that so many women will be, and little girls and teenagers will be inspired by your work. And again, seeing that transition in your career is also just really cool. I think that's another great message that people need to hear, is that, you're not stuck in any one career and that there's always a space for you in cybersecurity and potentially at CyberClan for those of you that might be interested. So
Absolutely, yes. You just got to put in the time and the effort, and just be dedicated, and you have the opportunity for growth in cybersecurity. Again, that there's no limit to the sky.
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jovianna, for being with us today. We can't wait to share this message and this video with the world. And we wish you a wonderful, happy holiday. And thank you again for giving us time.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.